What up, YouTube? You can't stop trading and investing with your boy James E. Today I want to talk about SNDL, a cannabis stock that is high on the radar. I want to dig in a little bit in the fundamentals. I want to dig into the technicals, the news hype surrounding this stock. But before I do that, man, please click that like button. Please subscribe. It is very much appreciated. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy that likes to research and analyze anything that I find interesting in the stock market, and I like to share that with anybody willing to listen. So that being said, let's just get right into it. So first of all, let's get into right here. So Sundial Growers, SNDL, a marijuana stock that's been popping, man. I was looking for the summary so we could get into this thing real quick. Yeah, man, this thing has been popping. It had a beautiful day yesterday, so I wanted to look into it. It was squeezing this morning, pre-market. So as you can see right here, a quick summary of it. Sundial Growers engages in the production, distribution, and sale of cannabis products for the adult use market. It is also involved in the production, distribution, and sale of ornamental plants and herbs in the United Kingdom. The company offers its product under the Top Leaf, Sundial Cannabis, Palmetto, and Grasslands brand. Sundial Growers Inc. was incorporated in 2006 at the headquarters of Calgary, Canada. So Top Leaf, I'm actually familiar with Top Leaf too. I used to actually research a lot of marijuana stocks in my beginning stages when I first started trading, because that was back in the early days when cannabis stocks were really hot. So you know, it's just a cannabis company. They're having a lot of hype right now. There's a lot of news catalysts going on with this company at the moment. But you know, I just want to get into a few. Sundial Growers look ready to take the next step in this turnaround. As you can see right here, turnarounds like this one being undertaken by Sundial are not that simple. They're usually not all fast. And although its stock has rallied nicely of late, they are definitely not without risk. And you have to remember that too, man. They're not without risk, man. But Sundial at least is making progress. I wrote coming into the year that the stock looked intriguing as the turnaround began to take hold. And so far in 2021, investors have agreed, with SNDL stock gaining a healthy 26%. Let's get in right here, getting the balance sheet fixed. The first step of the turnaround is getting the company's financial house in order, which is very important. Financials play a huge role in the things that I look into. Sundial Growers has done that. As I wrote in December, and this was a company that wasn't guaranteed to even make it through 2020, let alone provide positive shareholders returns at the end of 2019. Sundial had 178 million CAD in debt and 45 CAD in cash. So that's Canadian, that's Canadian dollars. So, I mean, 178 million in debt, 45 in cash. Meanwhile, the company was burning cash in the operations as the Canadian legalized market executed its bumpy rollout. With the plunge of cannabis stocks and overcapacity across the industry, lenders were tightening up. There was a scenario in which Sundial would wound up entering a restructuring in relatively short order, but Sundial swapped stock for debt and sold it to the UK business. As a result, Sundial now is not only debt-free, but reported $21 million in cash in the last quarter. So that was actually a pretty smart move by him. Sundial swapped stock for debt and sold its UK business. So, they're trying to make the right moves to turn around the company, which is what they're talking about, which is why they're starting to have this major move. And then right here, the Zenabis deal. Sundial tried to do so on December 30th with a creative and maybe even tricky step. The company used a little over half its cash to buy a so-called special purpose vehicle. That vehicle owned 58.9% of the money of security debt in smaller Canadian cannabis company Zenabis. So, they're trying to make some new moves, man. By purchasing the debt, Sundial seemed to put itself in a no-lose situation. The Zenabis credit carries a whopping 14% interest rate, plus a royalty on the company's quarterly revenue. The Zenabis paid the debt in full. Sundial would do quite well with its cash, and if it didn't, the secured nature of the debt meant Sundial would have claimed the Zenabis assets at an attractive price. Zenabis has a market capitalization just shy of 90 million. Again, man, just making proper moves, man, to restructure their business in the proper way. So, I wanted to get into the fundamentals a little bit, to check out exactly what kind of history they have. Yahoo Finance is the easiest way, to just go through these things. But they don't really have much here. They did 75.8 million in 2009, and then the trailing 12-month period, they did about 97.3 million, which, so obviously they're growing in revenue, which is nice. But I don't see steady growth. We just had a big, huge jump in revenue in 2019, 75 million in revenue. If we get into the quarterly, you're not really seeing huge growth in the quarterly. If you do the quick math, 14, 20, 12, we're talking, 34, 40, 47 million, in 3 quarters. So from my perspective, depending on what they did in that fourth quarter, that's not really that close to that 75 of 2019. I think it's just a lot of hype right now. This stock is just research, but let's get into the charts because that's what I like looking at. So we had this major move, man. We had this major move from the 49, got as high as 70. Almost 100% move, and then after hours, it shot up yesterday to the 90s. So again, that clearly almost made it 100% move, and then we had this huge squeeze pre-market and a huge squeeze this morning. So the thing keeps running. I see a beautiful dip buy opportunity. I see a beautiful dip buy opportunity presenting itself right now. But that's not necessarily what I would want to do with this stock, because let's get into it. If you actually go back and look at the history of the stock, every time we have a spike, it drops, consolidates for days. Spike, drops, consolidates for days. Spikes, drops, consolidates for days. Spikes, drops, consolidates for days. Spikes, drops. And now we're finally having another spike. So just looking at the history of this chart, we don't ever really see consistency in the chart once we have a major move. It's more like a one and done, and wham bam, thank you ma'am, and that's about it. So that part of it I'm not really interested in. I was interested in it after I seen this move yesterday, but then when we had this big move after hours, that the more extended it gets, the more I want to stay away from it. So just a caution to anybody interested in and trying to buy this long term. Anybody interested, any retail investors interested in buying this, just have caution and realize that stocks tend to have personalities and they tend to follow trends that they've done in the past. You always want to look at the history of the company, and obviously they're making proper moves and got themselves out of debt, which is beautiful for the company. But like I said, for me personally, I like to see steady growth in chart patterns. That's, if you watch my previous videos, I talk about this. I want to see steady growth in chart patterns. I want to see steady growth in revenue, which I'm not necessarily seeing much of that in SNDL, other than the fact that it is in a potential hot sector, since now cannabis is going legally federally, and with Joe Biden in office. And I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but he did talk about that when he was being elected, that he would make marijuana legally on the federal level. So that'll be huge for cannabis, the entire cannabis industry, period. And SNDL could surely be a player in that industry. But just what I'm seeing in the chart pattern and what I'm seeing in the fundamentals, I'm not truly convinced yet. But it is going to remain on my radar, man. It is, there's a lot of talk and a lot of chatter around this. You could definitely just Google it and you'll see there's news everywhere about it. And that provides those type of catalysts that could send these things running. And especially when there's nothing but recent news. I mean, that's exactly what is happening right now. 1 hour ago, 17 hours ago, 1 day ago, 6 days ago, 5 days ago. So I mean, when you're seeing a bunch of recent news catalysts on a particular stock, man, that is actually very good for the stock, man. So for me, that's just a lot of hype right now. They are making some very smart moves to move their company in the right direction. But just looking at the chart pattern, I like to see this gradual action like what you're seeing in the last 2 days. But it's just getting way overextended. A potential dip buy would be the only thing that I could see I might play. But I have other plays that look a lot more promising than this one, so I prefer just to stay away from it for now. So that's going to be it. Just a quick analysis on SNDL. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of my analysis. Again, man, if you made it this far, please click that like button. Please subscribe. Make sure you truly weigh caution on this thing because the history of the chart shows it. Again, man, you can't stop mafia as a mindset movement, meaning never stop yourself, never stop your progress, never stop your education, especially in finance. Having multiple streams of income is an amazing thing, and the stock market is a place where you can do that. So, SNDL will remain on my watch list, but I'm not necessarily seeing anything as of right now that truly makes me want to play this because it is too overextended for me personally. Not saying it's not a good buy, I'm just saying for me personally, it's not necessarily something I would like to purchase as of right now. But if it goes on a beautiful run and starts having a nice gradual climb, definitely something I would be interested in. So again, man, just weighing caution on SNDL. Again, man, I appreciate anybody watching. Please click the link in these videos. Go check those out. It'd be much appreciated. So till next time, guys, I'll keep you updated as much as possible. I'm out. Peace.